on here.
The Witcher 3 was a massive global hit and game of the year, and everyone has been trying to get their hands on it ever since. The world is so immersive that it makes you forget about other games and leaves you begging for another Witcher experience. We're all going crazy waiting for The Witcher 4, so while we wait, let's dive into some games that have those same Witcher vibes.
Venom at hand for when silk farmers get bitten, but with the recent attacks, my stores have been emptied. There's not much.
Man, if you really want a game that totally flew under the radar, you have to try Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. Imagine taking the deep lore of a massive fantasy book and slamming it together with insanely fast action combat. It honestly feels so incredibly smooth to just juggle bad guys in the air, mixing your magic spells with these massive swords like it is no big deal. The whole world is super vibrant, giving off this genuinely cozy, high fantasy vibe that I am obsessed with. Plus, if you love breaking games with totally custom builds, the skill trees are absolutely ridiculous. It is basically the perfect game to just zone out and waste your entire weekend playing.
Let us endeavor not to give our hosts any reason to doubt us further.
Okay, so Dragon's Dogma is just straight up wild, and you have to play it. Picture running around this massive open world, but instead of just slashing a giant monster's ankles, you literally grab on and climb a griffin while it flies away. It is so ridiculously cool. The combat feels super heavy and impactful. Like every single hit actually matters. You also get these weird AI companions called pawns who follow you around, learning your playstyle and yelling out tips mid-fight. The story definitely takes a hot minute to really hook you, but once it finally does, you will not sleep at all. I swear you will be completely addicted to it if you try it tonight.
Give me a wrist. I shall see to it this does not happen again.
Looks like this place has been sealed up for a century.
If you are looking for something that hits a little differently, Divinity Original Sin 2 is an actual masterpiece. It literally feels exactly like sitting around a table playing a chaotic game of Dungeons and Dragons with your closest friends. You put together this crew of totally messy, hilarious characters and just cause absolute havoc. Yes, the combat is turn-based, but I promise it is insanely fun. You can do wild stuff like poison a massive puddle of water and then blow the whole thing up with fire. Almost every quest has a million ways to beat it, giving you total freedom to act completely unhinged.
What do you think's going on, Grandad? I'm teaching you.
Dude, we have to talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It dropped a while back, and it is this super gritty, realistic medieval game that throws you right into the actual mud. No dragons or magic here, just pure historical realism. You play as Henry again, and the map is absolutely gigantic this time around. The first-person sword fighting is super brutal, so you actually have to pay attention to your swings instead of just mashing buttons and hoping for the best. Also, whatever stupid choices you make will legitimately change how random people in the towns treat you. This is the game if you want a ridiculously immersive game where you can just vibe in the Middle Ages.
Give me a moment.
Hurry up, lad.
I'll be done with you in a flash.
I'm gone.
Alright, if you are a huge nerd for making crazy character builds, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous is basically your dream game come true. You literally get to lead an entire crusade against actual demon lords, which feels so incredibly epic from the very start. The absolute coolest part is this mythic path system, where you can morph your character into a flying angel, a weird prankster, or even a creepy undead skeleton. The combat gets pretty punishing sometimes, I am not gonna lie, but the story is so freaking good that it hooks you for well over 100 hours. It is one of those massive, super dense games that will totally destroy your social life.
The death I saw.
Begone, fiend!
Look, there is no way I could even talk about fantasy games without bringing up Elden Ring. If you somehow have been living under a rock and have not played it yet, you are massively missing out. It takes that super brutal Dark Souls combat and dumps it straight into the absolute most beautiful open world ever made. The exploration is totally unmatched. You just hop on your ghost horse, ride off into the distance, find some creepy cave, and suddenly you are fighting a massive cosmic horror. Finding weird new weapons and flashy magic spells is dangerously addictive. Yeah, it is hard as hell, but beating a boss who has been trashing you all day is the best feeling in the entire world.
Looking for a man clad in black feathers.
I also have to mention Crimson Desert, which just came out a few months ago in March. Dude, it is an absolute stunner. Made by Pearl Abyss, this single-player game has some of the sickest, smoothest combat animations I have literally ever seen. You play as Cliff, this tough mercenary just trying to survive in a gorgeous, but insanely brutal, open world. The physics are completely bonkers. You can literally wrestle enemies to the dirt, or grab stuff from the environment to completely wreck them. Honestly, just riding your horse across the map feels like you are starring in a movie.
My Valena returned. She told me of your daring rescue.
Throwing it way back, Dragon Age Origins still completely holds up as one of the greatest story games ever made. The dark fantasy vibe is super gritty, totally focusing on crazy political drama and this massive monster invasion. But the characters are the real reason you play. Your squad will constantly roast each other, crack jokes, and actually become your best friends depending on what you say. The combat is super tactical, meaning you have to pause and plan your attacks unless you want to get totally wiped out. Also, the background story you pick at the start literally changes how everyone treats you. It has insane replay value, and you seriously owe it to yourself to experience this absolute legend of a game.
Oh, this should be fun!
No, I'm not having a good time. My boy just married a god's forsaken imperial.
And honestly, this one is legend. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Look, I know you have probably bought this game like 4 times by now, but there is a totally valid reason we are all still hopelessly addicted to it. The freedom is just completely nuts. You can literally ignore the main story forever, wander up a random snowy mountain, and spend your whole weekend crafting armor or shouting dragons out of the sky. The modding scene is still absolutely thriving too, so you can basically turn the game into whatever weird experience you want. It is just the ultimate cozy comfort game for anyone who loves fantasy stuff.
We knew better, and still we let our guards down. Obeying the Night Mother. You've been naughty, and you know what happens.
Finally, Baldur's Gate 3 is basically the game that ruined all other role-playing games for me because it set the bar so incredibly high. It is this massive, beautiful world where literally every dumb or genius choice you make actually matters. The cast is just amazing, and they feel like real friends who will totally judge you for being completely chaotic. Yes, the combat is turn-based, but it is super strategic and hilarious. You can talk your way out of huge boss fights, or just shove a goblin off a massive cliff for laughs. The freedom is honestly just staggering. It is an absolute masterpiece that will definitely hold you over until that new Witcher game finally drops.
I didn't.